Hi guys, I'm at the green space again. Thank you so much for gracing me again with your presence. It's such an honor. I'm so happy to see you guys here. Thank you for those of you who are commenting on my videos. Thank you for those who are giving me thumbs up. You know they're very important, yeah? So today I'm on my walk. I do a walk every single day. This is me, just in black, because I can't really tell what kind of weather we have. Sometimes it might start out really being nice and warm, and then after a while I'm freezing to death. So yeah, so that's it. I just remembered something today as I was, walking in this beautiful meadow. I thought about how I grew up. We all have a story about how we grew up, don't we? And without me having to bore you too much about it, the one thing that I remembered was how we used to go to the Fox Drive-In cinema, and my parents would take us there, and before we go to the Fox Drive-In cinema, which was on Thika Highway in Nairobi, we would first pass by Kenchik. Remember the one in town? Snow Cream? Remember the one in town, yeah? In Nairobi city center. For those of you who remember, you remember. And they had the best chicken, rotisserie chicken, and chips. And then my mom would have by then cooked some pancakes and some sausages, and so that we don't have to go and buy any food when we get to the canteen. So my dad would only buy drinks. He would only buy like Fantas because it was in the evening. But the rest of us, we want soda, we want soda. The one time we were allowed to have soda maybe once a month. But my mom and dad were the queen and the king of having fun. I mean, these people, my dad especially, was a real fun-loving human being. He passed away last year, which is really sad, but it reminded me, today I just remembered, had such a fun childhood that I wish it on every single person. I tried to give my son the same childhood, but it was too expensive. Because you see, the story is that the colonial government used to have so much fun in Africa. Those are the people who really enjoyed Kenya. They planned the city of Nairobi. They did a fabulous job, by the way, yeah? You remember, and I don't have to repeat, that we used to have all these, trash collection. We had all these kinds of parks like this one that we have here. I always like to take pictures of the beautiful grass, but this was normal. The way I grew up, this was very normal. This was how I grew up, actually, because Dad was in the agricultural sector, and I grew up in a place called Mogoga. I don't know whether you guys know Moguga. It was basically a farm and agricultural research station where they used to test different kinds of seeds and soils. My dad was a soil scientist and also what is he? He was an agrophysicist. He was just a super smart guy. And so I grew up amongst a lot of scientists from all over the world, and it was such a fun childhood. But going back to my other story, I was talking about, we'd get to the drive-in cinema and then park the car over the bumps and then fit in a speaker into the windows. Yeah, guys, so it's fit in a speaker into the windows and then would listen. And every single Elvis Presley show we had to attend. That was like, there was no ifs, whens, or buts with my mom. My mom absolutely loved Elvis Presley, and my dad loved Billy Abel. So they had very opposite tastes in music, but my dad was very accommodative, but my mom was not. So anytime that my mom saw those Billy Abel huge records with her beautiful picture on it, my mom would be like, "What kind of music is that? Eh? Why are you listening to that, Fred? Why are we listening to that?" But no, we had to listen to Elvis every single day and almost memorize his music. So let me sing one of the songs. Why is it that when I come here I want to sing? It goes, "It's now or never. Come hold me tight. Kiss me, my darling. Be mine tonight. Tomorrow will be too late. It's now or never. My love awaits. It's now or never. Do 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 do. Come hold me tight. Ooh. Kiss me, my darling, ah, be mine tonight, ooh. Tomorrow will be too late. It's now or never, my lover waits. There I go, reviving my music career. I used to sing a lot, you know. This yard here just makes me want to sing and be happy. You know, there's so many lessons that I learned from growing up, like how it's important to be intentional with your relationships, how it's important to demonstrate your feelings, how you feel to your partner, how it's important to be authentic, not to pretend, and how it's important to spend time doing the fun things together. It's so important to be creative and to be passionate about your relationship and about everything else in your life. Everything in your life. Whether it's your relationship with your children, with your parents, with your friends, with whoever you are in a relationship with, be very intentional, passionate, committed in it, or don't be in it at all. That's for me. For me, it's either it is or it isn't. Yeah. So I learned that because of watching my parents, how they were with one another. Dad was super tolerant, so was mom. I can say they were both, giving each other that space. But I think that is lacking a lot in the relationships that we have nowadays. It's very difficult to find people who will be patient enough to appreciate, just the joys of just being together, the joys of just going through life together without having a second agenda, without having alternative plans, without having an undercover or, under carpet reasons, without manipulation, without blackmail, without, always trying to control. It's very difficult to find that, guys. It's hard. I won't lie to you. It's difficult. It's difficult to find that in life. But I always say to myself, guys, I will never lie to you guys or to myself about a relationship or a situation that I'm going through. This is the post-truth era in life that we're going through. And I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to be part of telling lies, of post-truths. No. I have to be part of reality and truth. So where am I going with this? It was just like, it was just celebrating, being, in a relationship, being married, being a stepmother. I celebrate all of that. But on the other hand, I also know that it's very draining. It's super draining. Every married woman will tell you that marriage is hard. And for some of us, it's harder, especially when you're a step parent. When you're step parenting, it is something else, It's, because these are not your biological children, so you don't really feel like you have freedom to be a real parent with them without them also feeling a certain way, especially when they're older. So you have to always be watching, that you don't alienate the kids, just like you would with your own children. But I don't know, I think it's just even harder. So yeah, that's all I had to say for right now. But so that's where I am. So today I'm kind of like remembering my childhood. This area here just reminds me of my childhood. You see this area here, it just reminds me of my childhood. You can see, there's a place for children to play over there. I grew up like this, with all these meadows, with all this grass around. And I feel sad that today's children don't really get to enjoy this, as much, especially in Africa. Of course, in Africa, let me not say in Africa, in the African cities. The cities have been changed. They have been kind of like, what do we say? They have been taken over, by people who just think about anywhere they see a little plot of land, they just think of how they can take a measuring stick and measure a quarter acre, a plot. Everything has been plotinized, The whole of Nairobi is just plots and plots and plots and plots. And it actually changes the whole landscape and makes the place almost unlivable. So here I am reminiscing about my childhood, about my past. What else do I reminisce about when it comes to my childhood? I think life was simple then, guys. Life was so much simpler. Nowadays, life is so complicated. We've complicated life too much that we've made it into something that is almost unmanageable. We've made it so expensive. Everything is commercialized. We no longer have time just to smell the roses and just enjoy nature. And yet we really need nature so much. Yeah. So like I said, I'm on my walk. So today I'm going to just take it easy and walk slowly and chat with you. So yeah. And what else do I reminisce about my childhood? I certainly don't reminisce about the punishments I used to get from dad. I don't like that. Yes, it was necessary to get some discipline. But wow, wasn't he harsh? Yeah, when it came to discipline, he was tough. My mom as well, it wasn't very easy with her either. But what else do I... Oh yeah, the fun times we used to have with my cousins when we go to visit our cousins. What happened to that, you know? Now when we grew up, it's like cousins are in competition, kind of like alienated from each other, super sensitive. Most cousins are so sensitive. They are so worried about how we perceive them or how I'd perceive them and all that, how we perceive each other. And it's like, you know, to be honest, you guys, it doesn't matter. Life is not a race, eh? Where are we going? Where are we racing to? Where are we racing to? We're not racing anywhere, yeah? So life is not a race. Life is to be tasted and enjoyed, not to be raced, yeah? We're supposed to be enjoying our lives. Let's learn to enjoy our lives, man, because that's it. That's the only thing we can do is just enjoy our lives. What else is there to do in this life except enjoy it? Yeah. So guys, I think that's all I have to say to you. I think I'm actually gonna take a bus and go somewhere. Why not? I'm gonna go back there. There's a bus stop that's not so far from me. So I'm just gonna head back. I'm going around in circles today. But I really enjoy chatting with you, and I decided that, oh yeah, by the way, I wanted to share with you something. There's a lady, a Kenyan lady that I was watching the other day. There are so many of them, by the way. But this particular one is a young one, and she was talking about, you know, she's trying to reinvent herself. She's went back to Kenya, now she's back in the UK. You know, she's trying to catch up with life, just like we all are. How much she lost because of moving. Moving countries, one of the most dangerous things about moving countries, which you should all be aware of, is that there's a potential, a huge potential for great loss. You can lose, go back to square one. Even when it comes to things like your business and stuff like that, there's a lot of risk involved in moving. You can lose your clients very, very easily. You can lose faith with them. Clients are fickle people, super fickle. They are not to be trusted at all. So the most important thing is to know that with every change and with every move comes a sacrifice and a price. So don't think that any decision that we take in life doesn't come with a price. It does. So the question is, do you want to pay that price? Are you ready to pay that price? And if you are, so go ahead, do it. But weigh it very well, because like for me, I'm not ready to pay the price. I'm not ready to take very major calculated or uncalculated risk. I have to be very, very careful now, because I was daddy's girl even into my 50s. Now he's gone. He's no longer there to support me, to protect me. So I have to protect myself. My hubby, on the other hand, you know, he's kind of like a happy-go-lucky kind of guy. So I can't trust him to protect me here. Where? I have to protect myself and plan for my future. So even if I relocate back to Kenya, wow, isn't that a beautiful area? I think I should take a picture. Even if I do relocate back to Kenya, it is going to be after some serious strategic planning. You see, as guys have been hearing in Kenya that the UN offices are moving there, but they haven't yet moved yet in completion. They are moving slowly. So who are we to just get up, jump onto the next plane and just move? I hope I don't miss my bus as I'm talking to you guys. Yeah, so if you're planning to move and to relocate countries, there's a planning season. If you're planning to move, if you wish to move and relocate back home or something, there is a planning season. It can go into months, it can go into years. Hopefully not take too long, but there has to be a strategic way of moving. In the meantime, you also don't want to lose the benefits of where you are, because you're no longer that person that moved away from your country. You're no longer that person, yeah? So you don't want to go back assuming that you're just going to jump into your old relationships, and that people are just going to accommodate you back normally. They will expect more from you when you go back. So it's important for us to also be prepared and to go slowly, inch our ways back into the society, while also remembering that we had a past, and keep links with the people in our past, because those people are there too. You become like a real global citizen, and no longer just a member of one country. You become a global citizen. So global citizens, bye-bye. Have a good one. Lovely chatting with you, and God bless you. Take care now. Bye-bye. Remember to subscribe. Toodles.